to another episode of Celtics Talk Radio. I'm your host, Kevin Perrington-Turner, aka the Brown Bostonian. That's where you can find me at sometimes on my blog, thebrownbostonian.com. And we are here with another episode, Celtics Talks Radio on Instagram, on YouTube, C3LTICS Talk Radio. That's where you can find all of us at. And it's been a great week for the Celtics, a great bounce back week for the C's. After a 3-game losing streak, they finally came back and won 2 of their own. The Celtics finally came back. Before that, they was on a 3-game losing streak. It was bad. Brooklyn, they lost to the Knicks before that too. It was looking bad. Lost the number 1 spot, but they fended off and they came back this past week. Still some of the same issues. We're gonna get into that. Nonetheless, they beat the Hawks Friday. They beat the Hawks Friday. The Atlanta Hawks 134-125. Jason Tatum. He scored 34 points. He was on fire. And they was able to hold off the Hawks as they came back in the fourth quarter. Trae Young was balling. He had like 34. He had 35 points and 13 assists for Atlanta. He was hooping like crazy, balling, shooting, getting to the rack, getting to the cup, passing it off to his players. And the Celtics, they were able to hold them off. Marcus Smart and Trae Young got into it in the end of the fourth quarter. Marcus Smart was ejected. Trae Young had a tactical foul, but he was able to shoot 2 free throws and it brought him back, which that technical foul also just kind of helps and hurts the Celtics a little bit. Lets them know that they have some toughness. They have some fight still in them. They're not just pushovers. Guys who just shoot threes and play, non-tough defense, but it was still kind of a move that you don't want to see late in the fourth quarter. Technicals like that and ejections, you don't ever want to see go in the fourth quarter. Technically, usually ejections you kind of want to see you never want to see them, but if you do, and it's from your toughest player, which is Marcus Smart, you want to see in the first half where it might not be a deciding factor at the end of the game, or it might be when you're already losing, already down, and you want to just have a pick me up, a fire turnaround. That's what coaches and that's what a lot of players do when they get ejections. But nonetheless, the Celtics were able to pull it out despite Marcus Smart going out in the fourth quarter because of an ejection. Jaylen Brown did his thing. Jason Tatum did his thing. But nonetheless, once again, no Robert Williams. And that hurt them. Al Horford, this past week, he's played big minutes, which he stepped up. However, I said this last week. It hurts them with edits. I said it last week with edits. It hurts the Celtics when it's just Al Horford being the top big guy on the team. He needs to be the second big guy because he can shoot threes, and that's what helped the Celtics fend off the Hawks Friday. Shooting threes. Horford got into the threes. Jason Tatum got into the threes. Marcus Smart hit a 3 before he was ejected. They all hit threes to fend off the Hawks because that's what Joe Mazzulla has been wanting. But against a team like that, where you have how tall is Trae Young? 6'1", 6'2", maybe 6'3", if I'm being generous. You got bigger guards than him. Way bigger guards than him, way bigger and stronger guards than the Hawks. They have some athletic guys, but Celtics are just stronger, but yet you're shooting threes still. And that's what kind of worries me a little bit about Joe Mazzulla. It's not that the Celtics can't get it done by shooting. It's just that I don't think they necessarily recognize the assignment that's in front of them. It doesn't matter if they're playing a small team. It doesn't matter if they're playing a slow team that you can take off the dribble and go to the basket. They're still going to shoot threes. And that's concerning because that tells me a little bit that they're not able to make adjustments. They're making adjustments in their place to get open guys to get the three, but they're not making adjustments to the team they're playing in assignments in some way. They're still sticking to them, which is always a good thing when you, in theory, to stick to what you know. But when you have assignments and you have clear mismatches, you got to take it, And that's what the Hawks did too. Whenever Sam Hauser got on the court, they abused him. Love Sam Hauser, but as a defender, when you got a lot of ball handlers and athletic, quick guys, as the Hawks do, you kind of clear out. We have Sam Hauser, a guy who's kind of playing small forward and power forward sometimes and getting out on quick guys. So the Celtics, they won. They fended off the Hawks. And, now they're on a 2-game winning streak. We're going to talk about the game against the Trailblazers Wednesday where they blew them out. But It's still a little bit concerned there for me, even though I'm happy that they won. They won. At the end of the day, the Celtics won. Maybe I'm too tough on the Celtics, too tough on Jason Tatum, too tough on Joe Mazzulla. They won. I'll give this to them. Second game in a row, they won after losing 3 straight. Now, we got to go back to Wednesday. Celtics beat the Trailblazers 115-93. Jason Tatum scored 30 points. He made six three-pointers, and they snapped their losing game streak Wednesday. It was Tatum's 36th game with 30 or more points, and he helped avoid the fourth losing streak. Derek White added 21 points. Al Horford 17 points and six rebounds. Excuse me. The guys came back. The guys came back. Derek White had been playing amazing. He's been a huge help. Al Horford, like I said, another game where he plays a lot of minutes. He's a huge part of the Celtics' success, which you want him to be, but you don't want him to be that much. How many years he's been in the NBA? You want to save him for the playoffs, especially the second half of the season. You want him to be here in key moments, but he's been there all game, and he's been playing fantastic, lights out. And it brings me back to last week where someone asked me in edits, "Hey, do you think Al Horford's gotten better?" I don't think he's gotten better. I just think they put him in better positions to score, which has been threes, which has been a little bit of pick and roll, maybe on top of the key, shooting and give and goes. But nonetheless, Al Horford's been balling. Derek White has been balling. He's going to be huge. Malcolm Brogdon's been great too. But I think Derek White has really stepped up. He stepped up to the plate. They were able to contain Dame for Dame's for Dame's level. They was able to contain Dame. No 60 points, no 70 points. Dame still got to the basket as he always does. He's just too quick. He's really just too good. But Portland's Portland. Simple as that. Portland's Portland. Celtics were expected to win that one. They won it at home. The Hawks they won that on the road, but this one they won it at home. They was expected to win against the Trailblazers, snapped that game losing streak, nonetheless, and that's what happened. Either way, now the Celtics number 2 spot in the Eastern Conference. Philly's right behind. Philly's behind them, like 2 games back, but I do think the Celtics they can't let their foot off the gas pedal. They're a game and a half back from the Bucks, from Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's playing great. I do think injuries is going to hinder Milwaukee towards the tail end of the season. So the Celtics will have a chance to get back, but they're not going to win it by 5 or 8 games like they did last season. It's going to be closer. It's going to be closer, and I wish I had a better word on Robert Williams and his process of getting back to this point to get back in the rotation. Because as much as I love Sam Hauser, over Scala, they're not Robert Williams. They're not Robert Williams. Because if you saw Friday night against the Hawks, which is a playoff caliber team, a first round playoff caliber team, they can cause issues for the Celtics due to matchups. If Robert Williams isn't there. Robert Williams, he's a guy that he's not guard quick. No. But he can make up for it, play great help defense with his blocking ability and jumping out the gym. He can do that against like a Collins. Whereas Sam Hauser, he can't do that. Skylar can't do that. Al Horford, he's a little quick enough. He can guard a little bit, even at his old age, but not to hang with the young guys for 48 minutes. Nah, sorry, it can't happen. It cannot happen. I love him. It cannot happen. And then we don't really have a true power forward. A true power forward we can really rely on to do a lot of things. We don't have that. Grant Williams is cool, a little undersized. Love him. Don't get me started about the 2 missed free throws when he said, "I'm gonna make these." He missed them. Oh my God. No. We're not good. I don't even want to talk about it. 20 mil. I was wrong on that. I was wrong on that. I thought I was an advocate for the 20 mil. Maybe if he turns it around, he can get it by the end of the season. But after those 2 missed free throws and like the 3-game losing streak, although people are going to put it on Tatum and Brown because those are bad losses, Grant Williams absolutely plays a factor in that for wanting that type of money and not really producing, especially when the ball was in his hands in the final moments of the game. Nonetheless, the big men for the Celtics have to step up. Tatum and Brown are looking tired. And I think that's why you see them taking a lot of jump shots. I mean, obviously Joe Mazzulla wants them to as well. But we've seen it last year when the Celtics got tired, when the Celtics had to play teams that are athletic, that are physical in the paint. That's exactly what you see. You see them start pushing each other around. You see them start shooting more threes. You see them start uh, doing step backs and shooting contested threes, and it starts getting misses, and it starts creating turnovers, and that's what's starting to happen. And I think the Hawks, if they play the Hawks in one of these first rounds, it can cause issues. I don't think it's a sweep unless they can pull it together, get a little more physical, a little more fast. But I don't think the Hawks are going to be an easy out if they play them, just because of matchups. They got too much athleticism, too much quickness, and for Al Horford to be the only big guy that's playing the key moments, which he can, but he's playing so many minutes that it's not helpful. We need Robert Williams. Nonetheless, the Celtics are still at the number 2 spot. I think they can make it to the number 1 spot, but they cannot forget Philly. I think right now, in terms of championship hopes, it's really the Bucks, the Celtics, and Philly. 'Cause behind you, you got the Cavs, you got the Nets, and it gets. I don't believe in them too much to really make a run towards the finals. I think it's those 3 guys. I think it's the Bucks, us, Celtics, and then it's the 76ers. 76ers are looking good. James Harden, Joel Embiid, we beat them recently, and the 76ers beat the Bucks. Nonetheless, we got to look forward because what have we seen? We see the Celtics are going to go on a 5-game road trip, and it starts with the Rockets. It starts with the Rockets tonight, 8 p.m. Check local listens. I don't know what it is on the West Coast. Sorry, I don't know. I'm bad at that. But 8 p.m. against the Rockets. That's one of the worst teams in the league. This is a great chance to get on a 3-game winning streak and get a great start on a 5-game road trip that the Celtics desperately need. If they can come out this road trip 4-1, I like our odds. Right now the Celtics are 21-12 on away games. So, which is, you see it happen. They're worse on the road a little bit more than they are at home. But after that, they're gonna play the T-Wolves Wednesday, the Timberwolves Wednesday. They're gonna play the Blazers Friday. And they're gonna play the Jazz Saturday. So they got a busy week. It's gonna be an interesting week, and we're gonna get through it. When you see me next week, we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be fun. We got the Kings Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday, and that's the 5 games. The Rockets are one of the worst teams in the league. I really hope Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they're able to take their foot off the gas and have Brogdon, Derek White step up. I don't know if Marcus Smart's going to get ejected. Al Horford's going to step up. Hopefully, we see what happens with Robert Williams, and Grant Williams can step up. Grant Williams needs to step up, hit his free throws, defend on the perimeter, defend in the paint. We need to see more from Grant Williams, if I'm being completely honest. I said it before in the show, I'm saying it again. Because this 5-game road trip, it's not easy. It comes down to the guys on the bench. It doesn't come down to the stars. The stars they need to step up when it's 2 minutes left in the game and it's close. But before that, for the rest of the 46 minutes, it's on the bench. It's on Brogdon. It's on Grant Williams. It's on Derek White. Especially on the road. Especially on the road. Celtics got a chance to take this back, go on a 3-game winning streak, go on a winning streak. All these games are winnable. All these games are winnable. T-Wolves Wednesday, they can very much beat the Timberwolves. Blazers, they already beat them. They could beat them again. Jazz, they can beat them again. No Donovan Mitchell. None of the stars we saw years ago. They can beat them again. This is a very winnable schedule, and best believe the Bucks are going to have their away trip, and this is a true chance to get it. If we have Rob, we sweep them for sure. We need Rob healthy through ASAP. That's what I've been hoping, Chris. I've been truly hoping Robert Williams comes back. I think Robert Williams is really the X factor for the Celtics' hopes of the championship. We said this last week with edits. It's so true. Although I would have loved him to develop his offensive game on the block instead of just catching alley oops, cleaning up boards, and I would love to see him have some block offensive toolkit. You know, I honestly like Blake playing right now instead of Grant. As soon as Grant checks in, you can almost guarantee a foul. That is true. But the thing about Blake, he doesn't. I don't think he affects the game as much as Grant Williams. Sometimes it's not as Grant Williams, like you said, affects the game not in the best way, but at least he affects the game. I feel like Blake Griffin's kind of just there to hold the score to what it is until the guys get healthy. Like Blake Griffin's not shooting too many. He's not really going to shoot too many threes. He's not really going to clean up boards like that. I haven't seen Blake Griffin fight for a board. I haven't seen him really box out. I haven't seen him run the floor like as hard as he can. I haven't seen him play hard. I haven't seen him die for a ball. I haven't seen Blake really do any digging, any like true changes to the game. I love Blake Griffin. When I was a kid, I loved Blake Griffin. He was dunking over cars, Lob City, and Clippers. And then even Detroit Pistons, he averaged 20 points a night. But now, hopefully I'm wrong. Because like I said before, we need a power forward that can score. Maybe if Blake can turn back the clock, he can be the change. But if not, Robert Williams and Grant Williams. Grant Williams needs to step up. Does Grant deserve 20 mil? I said it last week he did, but he missed 2 free throws. He missed 2 free throws last week after saying I'm gonna make these against the Cavs. I'm sorry. That just came to me in on Facebook. He was after that, he was like, yeah, man, you're tripping. He tripled the 20 mil. Grant can affect the game more than Blake for sure. Can affect, but we need Grant that was here at the beginning of the season. Blake is just a great vet to have, but he's not the same guy. He's not the same guy at all. Yeah, great. Grant could affect the game way more, but he hasn't. And I think part of that's just the second half of the season. It's a lot more games. Guys are tired, but that's why this road trip is so important. And they have a chance to sweep the road trip. This is the time where like you made it to the championship, you have to prove now that it wasn't a fluke by winning games that you can win. Greatness isn't when you can win when you're the underdog and you win. That's only a small part of greatness. Greatness is when you're able to win games that you're expected to win. That you can win championships when you're expected to win championships. That's why we look at the Spurs when they had Manu, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan. They won championships when they was expected to win championships. Kobe Bryant and Shaq won championships when they was expected to win championships. So did the Warriors. Whenever we look at the underdogs, it's a great story. It's a great story. But who do we remember most? We remember Jordan because he took over the '90s and won when he was supposed to. I know it's a sports basketball show, but even Tom Brady with the Patriots won 6. They won when they were supposed to win. I mean, that's just what greatness is. And right now, they have a chance to go crazy on the road and really take over the first spot. Because I do think if they sweep, they take the first spot of the Eastern Conference. Has it been a locker room issue? I wish I knew. I think there is. I think that ejection tells me a lot. Honestly, I think that ejection from Marcus Smart tells me a lot with his scuffle with Trae Young. I think it tells me that there's been a little bit of an issue. I think there's been some softness because although the Celtics pulled off a win against the Hawks, I didn't like how they did it. They shot too many threes. I agree. And I think this road trip will determine how the rest of the season goes. I think it will. I really hope. I mean, I think they can sweep, but I think hoping for a sweep might be a little bit of a little too hopeful, wishful thinking because it's 4 games this week on the road. So that's a lot of traveling. That's a lot of, ice and physical therapy, a lot of massages. It's going to be a lot of miles on their legs, on their bodies. That's not easy, but they need to win. And it's going to come from the bench. Hopefully, I'm going to keep an eye on Blake. You know what? Who also will get a chance to play? Payne Pritchard. These road games is when the bench guys come out and will start to play. That's when the stars get tired. Payne Pritchard, Blake Griffin, Grant Williams. This will be the bench. The bench's time to get buckets. The bench's time to make a change. The producer says we can win every game this road trip. They're all winnable. They are all winnable. They are. Well, I think it'll be easy. Nope. but I do think it's winnable. Um, I also wanted to talk about something else. It's not necessarily Celtics, but it's the NBA. It's taking over the NBA. Me and Ellis, we weren't able to speak about it before last week, but we got to talk. I think we got to talk about it now. The John Moran story. About a week and a half ago, it was a video he posted on IG Live for him, flashing a gun in a strip club, allegedly a strip club or whatever. More pictures surfaced of him in the strip club. I think that's poor taste because he didn't do anything wrong. But what new information came out? Powerade pulled their ads from John Moran. In case you haven't been following, John Moran had a bunch of sponsors before this, with Powerade, with Nike. I don't know. Nike didn't pull out yet from the information that I received, but Powerade did pull out, and that's what and that's what we might start seeing now with ads. And if I'm being honest, my honest opinion, I think it was a mistake from John Morant. But I will say, from what I've seen, because we're Celtics fans, we've seen what Paul Pierce been through when he was at the club, and he got stabbed at the club, and he dealt with paranoia, he dealt with stresses. Not saying it was okay for him to go on Instagram Live and do what he did, because no one's forced you to go on Instagram Live. I don't have a problem with him going to the strip club, even though he lost that game in Denver that night. He still went to the strip club. I can't judge, I guess. Nonetheless, I don't have a problem with him doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. But him going on IG Live to flash what seemed to look like a firearm, that's where, the immaturity comes out. And for the ass to be pulled, I think it might be a little too tough on him because he's 23. I know it's not an excuse. He's a grown man. He's a dad. But sometimes I do think we overlook what players are going through in the league in terms of paranoia, in terms of threats, where they come from. And I see a lot of things. I'm not going to say the shows, the people. I see a lot of things, people saying, you're not like that, or you're not from here. You don't know where these people are from. And even if they're not from that, let me tell you something as a black man in America. I don't care if you was from the suburbs. You most likely have family and friends that have been affected by different areas, which affects you. I've dealt with people that gone through stuff, passed away, violence, drugs, homicides. It doesn't matter, But I think John Moran did make a stupid mistake, but I think we do have to come some slack because it could have been a lot worse. And I do think, the ads being pulled is going to happen. I don't think it should. But nonetheless, I just hope he can come back from this and ball out. The Grizzlies are a good team. If I had to choose between the Grizzlies and the Celtics in the finals, I got the Celtics. Even with John Morant, I got the Celtics. He's just got too much skill, too much experience for that, man. If I was Ja, I'd honestly see about legal action. You go to a strip club, respect confidentiality. You think they understand there's business here. For them to release those photos, that seem on me. Also, I don't think the NBA tries to help players. A person. Oh my God, they really anything off the court? NBA, I feel, does not have the tools to help. That's all I said. Right? I agree. Because the pictures they released, he didn't do anything wrong. He was at the strip club. I'm not going to explain what goes on at the strip club. You can Google it. But he didn't do anything wrong. And nonetheless, I think it does hurt them as a company, and I think it is tacky. And I do think the NBA doesn't necessarily support their players what they go through mental health, because you got to remember, you are taking these young men from certain areas or what they've seen or who they've been around, who their friends are, who their families are, and you dump them millions of dollars, put a camera in their face. We talk about them on sports shows every single day. Anytime they lose, we're on them. Anytime they only drop 10 points or they shoot 0 for 7 from the field, 0 for 7 from free throw line, or they shoot 10% from three, we're on them. Despite what they're going through, we don't care what they're going through in real life. If they have a bad game, we talk about them on sports shows. And then they get dumped more millions of dollars because they're a highlight reel. Now it's like we expect you to win. It's a lot of pressure on family, friends around the league. Then you hear trade talks, and then people pressuring you. I agree. I don't think the NBA necessarily does the best to help their players with mental health, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, back to the Celtics. If I have any last words, I say the Celtics, they need to win tonight against the Rockets, and I don't want it to be a close win. It shouldn't be. I don't care if it's on the road. They should win by 20. I don't want to see Jason Tatum score 30. He doesn't need to. I want to see Jaylen Brown score 30. I want to see Malcolm Brogdon score 20. I want to see Derek White score 20. I want to see Graham Williams score 15, have 10 rebounds, maybe 3 assists. I want to see Al Horford. I don't want to see him play too many minutes. I want to see him have like 12 to 15 points, and I want to see a few other guys step up. I want to see Sam Hauser hit 3 or 4. Yes, exactly. I want JT and Jaylen Brown to play 20 to 25 to 30 minutes. That's all I needed. I wanted to be a solid win. A solid win. They play hard, but they don't have to exert themselves. We don't have to get the crowd involved on the road, because that's really all it is on the road to win games. You don't want to get the crowd involved. You don't want them to shoot 2 threes in a row back to back, because then the crowd's going to start roaring, and then they go on a run. They call some timeouts, and before you know it, you got yourself a game. So this needs to be a veteran type of road game where they keep the crowds out of it. The bench guys come in, do what they do, extend the lead maybe to 4 to 6 points more, and they just go away with it, and they go on to the next road game. That's what I want to see. Hopefully the Celtics can do it. I think they can win all games. We're going to see. By the time we check in next week on Monday, they're going to be 4 games in, and we're going to see exactly what it is. So hold me to it. I'm going to say they only lose. I hope they win all games, but if I'm being completely honest, they're going to have 4 games. I'm going to make a prediction. I say they go 3-1 the next 4. I think they're going to go 4-1 for the entire road game trip, but I think they go 3-1 by the time we go to Monday. That is my prediction. Hold me to it. What do you guys think? Put in the comments. And next week, we're going to have a special guest, Lady Girl. Our producer, William, he met her at the Atlanta game. He was lucky enough to go to the game. He's had a crazy weekend. Great guy. And we're going to have a guest next week. We're going to see what she thinks, too. She's an NBA fan, basketball fan, Celtics. She knows a bunch about basketball, about the league. So we're going to ask her, too. It's going to be some tough questions, because as we get deeper into this season, towards the end of the regular season, it's going to be some tough questions. Nonetheless, man, that is another episode of Celtics Talk Radio. Find us on Instagram. Find us on YouTube. C3LTICS Talk Radio. I am your host, Kevin Perrington-Turner, a.k.a. the Brown Bostonian. That's where you can find me on my blog, on my website. I talk about the Celtics. I also talk about the Pats, the Red Sox. I'm a Boston guy, Boston kid, born and raised. And we're here. Check in, tune in next week. And that is all I can say. Peace.
Bring that smoke!